All right, let's test the sound and then we can get going. Oh, I probably should add that there here. See if this works or not. Oh, I probably should. Okay, there it does. Okay, so I'm going to be throwing the link around in a couple of places and then we can start. I don't think I had any requests for this week. I don't think I actually requested any. So let's see what we can find. Let's go with this one first here. Let's go a couple, the ones that we don't usually go for. Apple, this was requested before, previously. Still hasn't done anything. This was what we were looking before. Looking for these divergence to form and then creating some kind of three-way move to the upside, and then we can take a look at that potential short opportunity for this higher time frame, because again we hit these major targets that we had here, the 1.236 retracement of this original wave A, and also the 1.6 minute extension of this WXY here. Again, major targets that were hit, and this definitely seems like it is very large and does not really fit too well into the idea that it would be part of this previous move. Again, that would be very extreme, as you can see, and it doesn't have the best structure overall for that. But again, once we see these three-way structures forming up, I would be looking for some kind of short opportunity, at least for a three-way structure. A three-way structure like this, which again is big moves here. These are already 10%, so again another expected leg towards the downside is expected, in my opinion. PayPal, let's take a look at that. Haven't seen that for a while. So we did get those divergences here. Quite a while since I was looking at PayPal. This is very arguable how we want to be labeling this. Looks kind of in three waves, and this looks very impulsive to the downside, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure how I want to be labeling this though. Not really clear. We do have some divergences here forming, so this might be the similar situation we want to have and play on Apple. So waiting for some kind of move to the upside, and if it is indeed in three waves, we could be looking for short opportunities for that lower prices again. There's not really good looking argument to go long too much. There is a chance that this whole thing would be some kind of flat, where this would be an ABC. B wave in the middle would have to be something like this, something like that. Not sure how I would want to finish anything here, because this to me looks more like a three wave here. This looks like a three. So I feel like we are still missing one more leg to the downside, regardless. So yeah, I would be expecting that to happen first. I'll set myself some alerts here. I want to at least retrace into here, $64, before taking any kind of other action. Amazon, take a look at that as well. Yeah, we hit now the 38.2 in time as well. This is, let's see the extensions here. It's still within these more bearish targets. Once we go beyond the 1.6 minute, then we can talk about this being more impulsive. This kind of looks more like a three wave anyway, which is why I originally labeled this as an ABC. I'm not quite sure how to label this. Maybe this is something like that overall to create some kind of WXY. It's kind of ugly, very similar to S&P 500, which is very extended already into that 1.618 with its last leg. ARC is taking some hits now. Let's see, it's possible that this is still a structure like this, and then we'd be getting a structure like that. This obviously does not really work out too well here, this ABC anymore, as we did not get a continuation to the downside, so I'm probably going to be removing that. I'm not quite sure how I like this. I think what we were previously discussing on ARC, that this wave 4 was kind of small in comparison to this. There's a couple of ways to label this overall, either 1, 2, 1, 2, where this wave 2 would be up in here. And then of course it would be more bearish overall. Maybe it could be fitting a diagonal in here. Maybe this wave 4 is actually at these lows. And again, how to trade this, I would be looking for very similar idea as to the others. This, however, looks to be needing some kind of consolidation first for that wave 4, and then wave 5, and then retracement, and then back up. If that is the case, I would want to short that. Yeah, this kind of feels like it is very proportionate in 3 waves, so which is why I'm still leaning more towards the bearish idea that this is probably around the 1-to-1 here. But yeah, that would be the ideal circumstance from this. Let's start going through the normal ones as well. So NVIDIA. So we had this idea of this being potential wave 4. There was a chance that this whole thing is some kind of expanding diagonal to the downside, at which case this whole thing would be over. These structures over here are kind of hard to break down, unfortunately, at this point. We could be taking another look at this. This has to be a wave 2 here. Has to be a wave 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe another 1, 2 here. 3. This would have to be 3 here. It's possible that we have something like this as a wave 4 as well. We have a very sideways wave 2 here though, so we don't really need that. We could have it like here. And if we want to project it in here, this would still mean that we would be looking for one more high here. We're not taking out this low here either, nor the start of this whole thing. We have divergence from the highs into this one, into that one, and mainly one more I would be expecting. Yeah, there is definitely a chance that this is not done yet. We had a very decent bounce here, which again does not really fit too well into the idea that, okay, we are now done. We did get back to this support here on 30-minute time frame already. Almost hit it as well. You could be looking for long setups here with very tight stop loss for the upside move, which is probably something I might want to do. I'm just going to be listing this for myself. It's not the best risk to reward ratio because the clear invalidation of this is down here. You could be seeing this as some kind of triangle here as a 3-wave structure here. And if this is to continue to the downside, you would be just getting stopped out here and entering again lower. So you would be getting 3 here, some kind of 3 up, and then 3 down, and then looking for another trade here against this actual low. That's how I would be playing that. So NVIDIA is something that I want to be playing. Netflix. This was actually something that I took a long for here, or against this low. I think it is now stopped out though. Let's make sure that is the case. Actually looks like I'm still in that for some reason. It's, yeah, regular trading hours not done that. So extended hours has already invalidated my trade because I was thinking that this is a forward move, but obviously it wasn't. The original plan was that this was the move and we were looking for higher prices, but instead we just got this limp move to the downside. Not sure how I want to be labeling this though. I wanted to see this this whole thing to become something like this, and then look for shorts again here per this higher time frame, because again we had this more major down move. How we would have to now label it is that this probably has to be a 3-wave here or 3-wave here. It's going to be really horrible looking. So this would probably be some kind of diagonal, maybe something like this. Maybe becoming a 1-2, 1-2. So any 3-way move here, you could be looking for that short setup. We'll see how that long setup here turns out. Maybe it just stops me out, or maybe I need to be playing this on the regular scale or regular trading hours. But yeah, my stop would be here if that market was open. What's next? Meta. It had this potential leading diagonal to the downside. At this point, I'm not currently really sure how this is, because we don't have any more divergence here. So the reason why I wanted this to be a diagonal here was this divergence ending. Some indices had a 3-way move here. That was way more prevalent than this one. So I'm not sure if we can just count this as a 1-2. It did take out the previous highs here, creating divergence for the downside move again to happen. But I'm not quite sure if I like this, to be honest, for a trade. This move, if this is to have a continuation in validation for that, is very close. So you could be looking for a some kind of move. If today is going to be a positive day, you could be getting some kind of decent entry here. But I'm not really tracking the count here on this one at this point, because it has been just following this same channel overall, and not really offering too many good investment opportunities in my opinion. That was Meta. Let's take a look at Tesla. Actually got out of Tesla, I think it was yesterday, stopping out somewhere in here around 230s. We originally got in around, was it here somewhere, 160, 170, somewhere in here maybe. So again, some decent gains from that. But obviously we took our profits way earlier as well, in here and somewhere along here when we started to see some divergence forming. Just because again we did not know if this was just going to be some kind of 3-way move, and then again to the downside, creating a 3-wave here. But yeah, it took off and got into that more of a C-wave target. It's still possible that this is a 1, 2, 3. However, again, invalidation for that idea is 216. It's not really probable at all, since we did not get to the 1.618 here. This is very similar to Meta, where we have not really received a pullback here, which is why I thought this was going to be some kind of diagonal, getting pulled back and then dump. But we're just gradually, well, this is almost a dump as well, but we're getting very choppy action to the downside at this point for Tesla. No real opportunity for trades at this point, I don't think. Then Bitcoin. Was it yesterday or the day before we were talking about on the video about this this structure over here, and yeah, we got a 3-way move up, a 3-way move down, and then yet another 3-way move up here. This had to be, in my opinion, some kind of expanded flats, hitting this expanded B pocket and then going up for a move. I took a long, I think, on ETH somewhere in here, but that got stopped out obviously when it on ETH chart. I'm still on the short for Bitcoin. And yeah, this was the these were the areas I was looking for. Again, we had a daily open here that it tagged, and we got a bounce from. I'm not really sure if I like this, to be honest, though. This can be a 1-2-1-2 setup here, which would define this idea that we would have still more to the downside, where this would be a 1-2, some kind of 3-4-5, 3-4-5, maybe a couple more lows if that is to be. Here we are getting new lows on RSI, which is again warranted after this fast move to the downside. So no real surprise for that. And yeah, it looks pretty decent. For that, again, we would have to have some kind of diagonal in here to create even larger 1-2, 1-2, or that this would be an AB, and then we are creating that C wave to the downside, which would be a bit elongated, I guess, where this would be something like this, and probably targeting somewhere around in here, this area. But yeah, the only issue with that count is that this this whole thing, if you were to label this as the end of this move, is that this is so small in time. Sure, it did retrace quite a bit, almost to the 0.5, I believe, just to the 0.5, okay. But yeah, it's very fast, so that's why I kind of like it being something like this maybe, but again, not particularly good looking either way. But yeah, I'm expecting a bit more downside. Can it do this? Sure it can. Invalidations for that idea that this would be a C wave that has more legs to the downside is probably around here, I think, because again, we did not really get a 1, 2, 3, 4. We did not get a fifth here, nor we did get a fifth for this structure over here. So that's my ideas for Bitcoin at this point. I don't really see any good targets down here though, which is kind of worrying. We don't have much support here either. So again, it is very, it's very dangerous, I guess. But overall, I'm still more bullish because I want this move here to have a partner leg somewhere in here. But this is kind of scary area because we don't have those clear support areas, and this is basically a fair value gap here on higher time frame completely. So we could definitely drop down to the next levels here, 27.2 or something, or even lower. But that's ETH. Sorry, that's Bitcoin. Let's check out ETH. And here I think was the ETH long opportunity here, somewhere in here, and got stopped out. Did not work out. This was a decent looking structure here for ETH. So again, that's why I took that trade. Did not play out, but that's sometimes how it goes. Higher time frame ETH, I have no idea what's going on, to be honest, and this was the trade that I wanted to set up for local structure, so I might have wanted to see something like this here, but again, that was kind of against Bitcoin, so not definitely the most comfortable trade to be in. If this indeed is 3 here, we could be looking for this as 3 here, 3 up, and then looking for some kind of move to the downside, taking out this previous low here, 16.25 overall higher time frame. But again, this is very choppy, very not decent, and yeah, very overlapping structures anyway. So maybe if we have this as a diagonal, we'd have this again. This would be the very fast ABC move comparable to Bitcoin, or was it this one? Too high time frame. And this was the move to the upside, so it was somewhere in here. But yeah, it's a bit different than Bitcoin for sure. Definitely not clear how I would be wanting to label this either here. I'm not going to be looking for ETH at this point for trades. I feel like it's just going to be tracking with Bitcoin to the downside a bit more. Solana. we did get these couple new highs here that we were looking for, and yeah, since then again we just plummeted down. I'm not quite sure if I like this at all. Why is that? Because again, we had this previous move to the downside that has the potential of being a diagonal. If this indeed is just 3-way move, where this potential 5-way move here is a end of C wave, so this would be an A, B, and C, we would be looking for higher degree, which would be this move to the downside and the continuation. And this would be that chart. And if this indeed is the case, well, you would be just looking for a short opportunity somewhere in here. Sure, we do have this opportunity here already. We have divergences, which would indicate that indeed we have a potential 5-wave here. And now if we get a move to the upside, potentially into around the $24 area, you could be looking for short opportunities here. In validation for the idea that this would be the start of a larger move is only at these highs, so 25.40. So that's why I want a bit more higher prices before I want to be looking into trading this too much. Let's see if there are some volume areas that are of interest. Yeah, obviously here, up here. This previous support level here turned into resistance. We could be looking for that as a target as well. Let's see, what was the extension target here? Yeah, that is basically there, that 1-to-1. It doesn't have the retracement target fitting too well. 1.236 here hits the golden pocket, which is again always a key area to look for in these. So again, that is Solana. I'd be interested in only shorts here based on how strong this was. ADA. ADA had very similar structure to Solana. Had this potential diagonal here, but I don't think that is right way of labeling, because this move is still to the continuation and we have a new low here. So I don't think this is anything. For regular or expanded flats, we generally want to be seeing something like this. However, we would have a divergence here between the origin and the B wave, and we definitely don't have that here. So RSI should be something more like this and have that divergence here for this kind of setup, which is why I don't really like this. And yeah, overall, I'm not really looking good. So, and not clear either. So I'm not going to be trading Cardano at all. Phantom. It finally took out its low, confirming that indeed this was not a 5-way move, but instead a 3-way like we had it. And then the question remains, what is it part of? As we see here, it still has the potential of having this as a 5-way move to the upside, however you want to be labeling this first move. We had divergences all around here, and this definitely can be some kind of 3-wave. It's going to be ugly since we took out this low here, but again, we're kind of close to that 1-to-1 extension if we take out that, and yeah, that's all. Currently, we did take out the liquidity that we had below here, so again, that has the chance of giving us some kind of rally, but I would like to see this hit here first. Actually, I'll just set an alarm there. How I would be labeling this, I'm not quite sure. You could be even labeling this into a diagonal where this would be a 3, then pull up, 3, pull up, and some kind of 3. But that would be creating this diagonal again, which would be part of most likely a previous move, or it would be a start of something new. If it was the start of something new, well, you would be getting this instead. That would invalidate the lows here, and instead you would be having this 3-way where this 5-way start would be instead of a start, it would be the end, where this would be the connector wave connecting this structure to the next. And if this indeed is that this large of a diagonal for this first structure, this would be just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you would be getting kind of large move here, and probably targeting some of these lows or some of these highs around the September 2020, 5 cents or something. So again, that would be dropping price quite a lot, 80% to 90%. Those are just the we don't need to worry about that yet again, but there's always that risk. Just keep that in mind, not go YOLO all in into these things, especially when these are already shown that they are 3 waves. So yeah, they don't really have a high time frame investment opportunity in my mind, at least. But that was the main cryptos that I wanted to talk about. Let's go for the US indices next. So Dow, again, we still have this possibility of having this as a 3, and for that 3 we did hit a pretty decent target here. I'm not quite sure how I want to be labeling this, whether this is a WXY or like we had this as a 5 wave first, because this here looks very much like a 3. It has come back down to these highs here, which invalidates the idea that this would be a 3. It can, of course, the bullish mind could be saying that we have a 1 2 1 2, but yeah, there is a chance that this indeed is some kind of W or WXY, or let's see, actually that this is not, it's right around that 1.618, which is the maximum that I hold. Let's go to regular scale. Yeah, right then 1.618. So generally we shouldn't see this. Why I'm looking at this is just looking at this as the potential wave A, B and C, where this B would be labeled in here, and only then we would be looking to create this C wave here later on. And this exact same thing is happening on this higher time frame as well. This B wave here, if this indeed is a 3 wave, we could be saying that this whole structure here would be part of this B wave, and that could be labeled later. And again, as we have taken out the highs here, did we take out the highs? I think we did. Yeah, we did. There and this one as well. We would be expecting a A, B, and C, which means that this structure here would be a impulsive structure to the downside, which is why, again, the risk of having all the indices basically having this diagonal possibility here is very, very scary. Although Dow is the only one that fits very, very nicely in the high time frame, with that in mind, where this would be a 1 2 3 4 5 3-way pullback, and then looking for another structure breaking down and then move up again. It could be that this is a ABC, as we have not really rallied to the 1.618 yet, but again, something to keep in mind still, that this, if this indeed is a 1 2, we are still looking for that 3 4 5 overall here. And yeah, definitely some areas of interest here, whether this is going to be turning up, saying that we have a correction here or not, and then a continuation to the upside. Then we can talk about the 1 2 opportunity, but that is so bullish though, I don't really like it. That's why. ES having that similar diagonal here, that very same 3-way structure does not retrace as much. I was hoping that we would be getting more a retracement to the upside. We never got that, but instead we got this move to the downside, and this again could be another 1 2, looking for 3 4 5 here, more breakdown, and then we'll see how that turns out, but really not too bullish looking overall. If we take out this high here, 45.45, then this whole thing probably is just a 3-way structure, confirmed that we have at least not an impulse wave directly. It could be a motive wave or start of a motive wave where this would be a start of a diagonal to the downside, but again, that is more rare than just a correction, statistically. Nasdaq, kind of similar, but not really. I couldn't really get a good looking diagonal in here. We have to be a bit more creative here. I think this was the three-way structure. No, sorry. This was the three-way structure here that was more prevalent on the other indices. And not so much on here Nasdaq. If this indeed is some kind of diagonal to the downside, or even if it is extended here, we would be looking for that three wave. Bullishly, Nasdaq is the most bullish of them all, and definitely has the chance that this would be just a three-way structure here, and we would be getting continuation for the rest of this potential impulse wave structures that we would have here. This could easily be labeled in here. Let's actually see if we can relabel this. Some of this, I think we're too high time frame. Starting here. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That looks good. And then, well, this on daily time frame at least. This is the high here. Maybe on smaller time frames we have something else. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be a 4 or 3 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be actually that. And this could be labeled in here. This way we could be a bit less bullish, but again, as you can see on the higher time frame, we still have this more extensions here in mind. So yeah, that's the case. I'm just thinking about the possibilities. How do we turn this into more bearish? And as you see here, it is very much more of a bullish, because we go beyond the 1.618. We generally don't go past that for expanded flats either. It is possible. We see on Bitcoin, we've seen this extend beyond here into the 2.618. But again, that is very much more rare, and always on those scenarios, you have multiple counts that are valid. So you never see truly a 2.618 extension on those, where you would have no other option to label it. Okay, Netflix actually broke down here. So now I got stopped out on that. And it probably has the chance of having this a continuation already. I don't really see a good looking thing here, how I would be labeling this, because I don't see this being able to be a triangle either. Because we have this as the high here, it takes out here. So we can't really have a triangle here either, but yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Let's check out the other small indices, or the other indices here. DAX as well, I'm expecting us to take out this high here if I want to be going for a trade. 16,080 basically. Why is because again, I don't really see this being part of this previous move. I think this looks better as a 3, 3, 3, 3, and then potential 5. However, the issue is that this could be some kind of running flat as well. That would be ending on one of these lows, and then we would be, if we rally or go up, it wouldn't mean anything this high. If this was the start, it would be the invalidation again. But there is still hope for this idea that this would be a three-way like so. This is very overlapping currently, so the only way to look at this would be some kind of diagonal. Ors 200. We did get this extension that we were talking about. Again, all of these looked very three-wave-ish. this came up in here, extension to 1.618, 1.236. Those were the very much, well, pretty much the only area that was linked together, and it pretty much hit to the perfect, yeah, here on both. So again, one of them is comparing this move here, and the other one is comparing this move here. So you could be getting a move to the upside now. And how that would be fitting into the higher time frame, I'm not quite sure. This is kind of weird, the whole higher time frame on this one, so not really too keen on that. But yeah, if we get a retracement here of some sort, I could be looking for some kind of play on this against the low here, because again, these were kind of important in my opinion. So let's see if I can get a, yeah, I'll just set an alarm here somewhere in the 38.2 or something, and then one above these highs. If we break through these highs again, it would be a sign of more bullishness overall, but we might not get there first. Yeah, that's AUS 200 as well. Take a look at Microsoft if there has been some kind of move. Yeah, it is. It has finally exited that channel as well that we had. It's not the best channel, it's kind of weird. We did take out the all-time highs here, so there is a chance for this massive move to the downside, which is kind of unfortunate. But for that to happen, I feel like we need some kind of retracements. Again, the only way to look at this, in my opinion, is some kind of diagonal, and I would really want some kind of more deeper retracement back up. But yeah, it's the start of some weakness since we have taken out and broken market structure over here, so there is a chance for a move or more massive move to the downside. Palantir, well, we did not really get that. We got something like this, but not that exactly. And here we would need one more high if we want that. Let's see, this could be done as well. Let's see. We'd have 1, 2, 1, 2. This would have to be another 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3. Some kind of 4 and 5 most likely. It's not really pretty. Might need. Probably go to 2 hour. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. We'd have to label it like this if we want to have it ending sooner, which is definitely possible. I see that. And this way we would have this as three-way structure down here. What is this though? This looks more like a 3, right? Or is this whole thing a some kind of expanding diagonal maybe? It could be. It would be really, really ugly. That would explain also the high here, and reason why we would not get this divergence. That could be definitely the case. These weeks, however, are really bad earnings. Massive earnings weeks, and this, well, these are not too much in my opinion. Like how much did the price reflect? 12% for earnings that didn't do anything. Well, that's something. How are we doing here? Bitcoin is still just grinding to the downside. We might want to be seeing some kind of, let's see if there is some kind of bullish momentum here. There was some bullishness here with CVD into these lows here. But if we take out this low again, we don't have that anymore. Unless we have a very locally here. I'm not quite sure if I would expect that to happen. You would need to probably grind the price very choppy into the lows here. We'll see. We'll see. It might be worth looking for some kind of move here or play here. Especially if we claim this back, this area. Get a bounce from the swing low here, and then move that up. That might be the way to go. I'll set an alarm for myself at least at the lows, at least to see the reaction. But yeah, I think that is pretty much everything I wanted to cover, as I didn't get the other requests on Patreon or Discord, so I'm going to call it early here. No chats at the moment, so that's all. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next live stream again. Bye bye.